I'm Travis Baer, the Chief Technology Officer and co-founder of Sound Agriculture. When we started Sound, we were really looking at the technology that was out there that could help growers be more productive and more efficient. And what we found was that there was a lot of open space, a lot of unmet technology needs out there that really relied on the natural power of the plant and the soil. And to give you an example of that, what we're trying to do broadly is really harness the molecular mechanisms between soil and plant interactions that allows that system to be more efficient. Growers have always had great tools, from crop protection to fertilizer to precision agriculture, to increase yield. And where we are right now as a system is that we're very good at producing calories per acre. But what we need to do better at is being more sustainable per acre, using the resources we have more efficiently. So we are developing life science tools, products that growers can put on the field, on their plants, that improve the efficiency of plant physiology. And part of that comes in helping the grower be more resilient to climate change. Growers know that weather patterns are changing when they can plant their crops, when they can harvest. And so what we're trying to do is sort of twofold. One is allowing the grower to produce just as much with fewer resources to be more efficient. And the other is to be more resilient to those changing weather patterns. When we started Sound, we were really thinking about how we could apply a lot of the science that was emerging around plant science and apply that in a commercial sense to create great products for growers. The other thing we were looking at was the sort of massive changes that were happening in genomic science. Especially over the past 20 years, we've learned a lot about the way biology works, but we also have tools that allow us to understand living systems much faster and much cheaper. If you think about the big drivers of sustainability, how much carbon is stored in the soil, how much nutrition is available to the plant, a lot of those major factors are driven by plant and microbe interactions. So what we're trying to do is looking right exactly at that interface of the symbiosis between plant and microbe in the soil, and developing technology that helps that whole system become more efficient and helps it adapt faster. The way we discovered Source was by looking at and really thinking about some fundamental interactions between plants and microbes in the soil. And we were really interested in this symbiosis that's been known for a long time between something called arbuscular mycorrhizae, or AMF. Now, it's a mouthful, but what those microbes do is really trade phosphate with the plant. So it's a symbiosis that's very old. It exists in agriculture and it exists in a lot of natural ecosystems. So we're really interested in that, in understanding that symbiosis and understanding, are there aspects of it that we could improve? So we started looking at that system from a purely discovery point of view, really acting as foundational scientists here. And what we found is that we could see some molecules and some signals that the AMF and the plant were exchanging. So we started investigating that more and more and figured that we could actually add some of those natural molecules into the system to improve its function, to basically speed up the symbiosis, make it a closer, more tight-knit interaction. That was really the genesis of the product that's now Source. Our discovery platform is really trying to find molecules that can mimic natural processes in the soil or in the plant. And we're looking for molecules that can enhance processes involved in sustainability and efficiency of the plant or soil system. So to give you an example, our product Source is built on technology that creates a signal to soil bacteria to produce more nitrogen and phosphorus right at the root zone. So this is a sustainable way for growers to get more nitrogen and phosphorus into their system without adding synthetic fertilizer. Source has a really unique mode of action, so we've created this video that explains how it works. When Source is applied, it activates beneficial microbes at the root zone of the plant. It activates two different types of bacteria. One are phosphate solubilizing bacteria that unlock phosphate and make it available to the plant, and the others are nitrogen fixing bacteria that transform nitrogen in the atmosphere into a plant available form. This leads to an increased boost of nitrogen and phosphorus for the plant, which can lead to increased plant health and enhanced yield at the end of the season. Okay, so let's talk about nutrient use efficiency. So what we're really talking about is you apply synthetic fertilizer to the field, how much of that fertilizer and nutrition ends up in the plant and in the grain that we harvest. So if you think about the journey when a farmer puts down fertilizer, you start to lose that fertilizer to leaching and runoff. you start to lose it to volatilization, so it turns into a gas and contributes to climate change. And then there's inefficiencies in how the plant actually takes it up. So there's a lot of points in that journey that we can improve and make more efficient, and that's the whole space of nutrient use efficiency. The problem with nitrogen fertilizer is that it has a lot of negative environmental impacts. And so a lot of modern agricultural productivity has been built on synthetic fertilizers, and that's a great thing. We're producing a lot of food, producing a lot of yield per acre, but there's a lot of negative impacts like runoff. So a lot of that nitrogen ends up in the watershed. A lot of that nitrogen actually volatilizes and becomes a greenhouse gas that's actually much worse than carbon dioxide. The other aspect of synthetic fertilizer is the carbon cost of production. It takes a lot of energy to manufacture fertilizer, to ship it around the world, and to get it onto the field. And so if you can reduce just a few pounds of fertilizer per acre, you can actually make a massive impact on carbon emissions. Source is what we call a microbiome activator. And if you think about this whole space of nutrient use efficiency products, this is something that's really new and really unique. Historically, you've had products like efficiency fertilizers, which prolong and protect the nutrients in the soil. You also have microbials, so live bacteria that you add to the soil. What Source is a microbiome activator that is really stimulating and activating the microbes that are already there in the soil. So we're really relying on the native microbial consortia and activating it. Some of the benefits of using a microbiome activator like Source is really the convenience. For growers, it's a product that is completely seamless to use. It can go in the tank with herbicides, fungicides, or other crop protection products. It's easy to mix and has a very low use rate. It also stores well, so unlike live microbes, you don't have to worry about keeping the product alive. You're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting the return on investment for the grower that fertilizers typically have, and you're getting the sustainability profile that live microbes have. And you're combining those in a product that's very easy and very seamless to use for the grower. So it really offers growers extreme flexibility to add more nutrition to their crop during the season. So they can apply it during a wide application window from early in the season to late in the season. They can also mix it with products that they're going out with to start with. And so the Source product has a low use rate, so it sort of gets a free ride to the field. We are on our 4th year of field trials. We've done hundreds of trials and thousands of data points with this product, and what we're seeing is a very reliable, robust performance benefit. So we typically see 8 to 10 bushel yield increases in corn, and with about an 85% win rate. So that is a performance that rivals crop protection products for reliability. Source was launched in 2020, so this is our first commercial year in the market. And so far we're seeing a great response from growers. We were actually sold out of the product because the demand was so high. And what we find is that growers who are very interested in soil health and making their farm more sustainable are the ones that are the early adopters of Source. What we're hearing so far is that growers who use Source, we're seeing some pretty impressive yield benefits, seeing some improvements in productivity of their fields, and also protecting the fertility investment they made with their fertilizer. For sustainability benefits with Source, you can really think about it 2 different ways. One is you can increase your yield without adding more fertilizer. Where agriculture is today, you've really seen a trend of increasing fertilizer additions to get more and more yield. We can continue that curve, continue increasing yields, but we can keep fertilizer the same. The other thing that a grower can do is they can actually cut their fertilizer. They can replace anywhere from 40 to 60 pounds of fertilizer per acre with an application of Source. And so that is anywhere from 20 to 30% of what a grower would normally apply. So that's a pretty big dent in the fertilizer budget per acre. This year, Source was available for corn, and we're going to scale that up dramatically next year in terms of product availability. We're also launching Source soybeans. So soybeans are an interesting crop because they're a rotation partner with corn. And although soybeans make their own nitrogen through a natural symbiosis, they have a major phosphorus need. So we developed a product that can go in and help improve phosphate availability for soybeans. So we're looking to launch that next year. The future of Sound is really building out this new class of products to help growers be more efficient and more sustainable. As we think about our pipeline and our technology platform, we're also thinking further and further downstream towards the consumer, because we know that consumers are increasingly demanding sustainably produced food. So we have some technology that is able to use the soil and improve fertility, like we were doing with Source, but we also have technology in our pipeline that's unlocking the natural ability of the plant to be more efficient and more sustainable. And so this is going to be something that's really exciting for consumers to know that the food they're eating has a smaller carbon footprint, has used less resources like fertilizer, and is overall a positive impact for the environment. The way we think about the big issues of today, for us, climate change and agriculture are major issues. And agriculture right now is a major contributor to carbon emissions. So what we'd like to do at Sound is use science and technology to reverse that. We want to see a system where agriculture is a net negative for carbon emissions. It's actually pulling more carbon out of the air and storing it in the soil than it contributes. So that's a big goal, and we're not going to solve that alone. But what we want to do is contribute tools and technologies for the entire food and ag system to move towards that vision.